So we're going to glide ourselves to the edge of the chair, and we'll get in touch with the sitting bones. And the sitting bones are very, very small bones, and if you rock a little bit behind them and a little bit on top of them and a little bit in front of them, you can start sensing the shape. See if you can see in your mind's eye the shape of the sitting bones as you roll. And the chair we're sitting on has cushions, so it's a little harder to feel. So maybe from pictures of sitting bones, like if you go to the museums in New York and you look at dinosaurs, they have sitting bones that are this long that they can sit on. Ours is much smaller, maybe the size of the thumb. And as you roll backwards and forward, is there a difference in the way that the right one touches the chair than the left one is touching the chair? Is one of them clearer to you than the other? And move your feet a little bit in different angles, different places, and see if that changes the clarity. And now focus only on, let's say, the right sitting bones, and roll only the right sitting bones forward and back. Roll the right sitting bone forward and back. And try to do it with as least muscle power, but think about the bones gliding. Can you feel the knee moving forward and back? Can you feel the thigh bone moving inside the hip opening?
Hey, Walter.
How are you?
Let's see first here.
Doing okay?
Yes, I'm going to check it out the right
It's not doing it right.
Oh, yeah.
Is it what, 9:30?
It is, yes.
Yes.
The one lady who kind of oversees it, she's out today.
Yes.
No, is the sits bone flat or rounded?
They're rounded.
Yeah, that's what it
They're
feels like.
rounded.
Mhm.
Maybe if I remember next week, I'll bring the skeleton so we can actually look at it.
That'd be good, yeah.
Yeah. So we are moving the right one back and forward. And as you're doing it, see if you can sense how much the leg is moving, how much the pelvis is moving. And when I say pelvis, the sitting bone is the bottom of the pelvis. So just a quick anatomy. The hip bone is built up from 3 bones. The ilium, which comes on the top here and goes around, and then you have the ischium right in the front, and then you have the ischium tuberosus, the ischium, sorry. The pubis is this one, I'm sorry. I haven't taught it for a long time. So this is the ischium, and this is the pubis, and this is the ischium, the bones that we're sitting on.
Mm-hmm.
And the ischial tuberosity is what we are rolling on. So as you are rolling on the ischial tuberosity, it carries the ilium with it, because they're connected, right? And you have 3 bones on the right side and 3 bones on the left side, hopefully. So now that we did it with the right, let's move to the left side and see if the left side is able to move as smoothly as the right side. So we're moving the left ischial tuberosity, we are rolling the left side and bringing it back. Rolling on the sitting bone, forward on the left side and coming back. How much does the femur, the thigh bone, moves forward when you're rolling, and how much does that femur moves back into the acetabulum as you roll back? Try now the other leg as well, because we already did the other leg. And stop in the center and rest for a minute. And there are very many ways for our body to our mind to understand what I'm saying and to translate it into the. And some of you also do something with the torso. So let's kind of do it again and see if you can isolate that the pelvis will move, but the eyes will stay right in the center. So the pelvis is moving forward and back, while the face and the center is not changing. The spine is not changing much. Wonderful. It's much easier if you're sitting on the very, very edge of the chair. So the sitting bone is almost falling off the seat.
Yeah, it's different.
And let's do it on the left side. And you're going to notice that one side rolls easier than the other. And see if you can find the center, keep the center of the spine without moving it to the side that you're moving. The spine stays center. And rest in the center. Take like a quick scanning on how you sit and how you feel. And the next time we're going to go back into the right side, we're going to roll forward, and this time we're going to turn away from this hip that goes forward, and when we come back with the leg and the sitting bone, we're going to roll back into the center. So the spine and the face move away and then come back. And the hip, the right hip rolls forward as the spine and the head moves away. Are you going forward or are you just rotating away from the leg?
You tend to go forward.
So both of you are going forward.
Both of us.
Yeah, so what I'm asking you is for the pelvis to go forward, but for the spine to rotate. See if you can find that ability to separate. Notice how you use your right foot. So, let's do it together for a minute. As you roll the right hip forward on the sitting bones, now you have more weight on the right foot. Stabilize the right foot so you can rotate away. Then come back, and now the weight goes into the sitting bone. roll the hip forward and the weight goes into the foot and the pelvis and the spine moves away. See if you can keep the left knee stable. Yeah, I know that with the foot doesn't do it, so just kind of see if you can stabilize it from here.
Okay.
And back. So the direction is forward, is not in yet. We're not doing it yet. And there's so many possibilities. Okay? So we're rolling forward, not in, but the spine rotates out. And again, roll with the spine forward and the spine, with the leg forward and the spine will rotate out. Now we'll do the opposite. We're gonna roll the hip forward, but we're gonna rotate the spine towards the knee that went forward. See how that feels. Not forward,
Yeah, I'm doing it again.
not forward. We're going to do forward in a minute. So the pelvis rolls forward and the spine rotates, closing in.
Which foot is really pushing on the floor? The one that's where the hip is, where you're rotating, or the opposite foot?
Right now the leg that we are going forward with.
Okay.
The weight goes now into that foot
All right.
and the spine locks in.
Okay. Thank you.
And think to yourself, what would that enable me to do versus what that enabled me to do? When I moved away from the leg, I had much wider eyesight, right? The field of vision is way larger. When I'm going towards, I'm getting more stable. So kind of see if you can translate it into day to day. Now we're going to do going forward. So as you roll on the right hip forward, we're going to rotate out and forward. Like some of you did. Roll the right pelvis forward and lean forward and rotate out. And you don't have to rotate a lot, just enough to see what can happen. What would that function enable me to do? If I had to get up, will I get up like that? Or let's try to roll forward, rotate in towards the leg and lean forward. Or is it easier to get up like that? Absolutely not. So maybe I need to rotate away a little bit and lean forward to be able to roll off the chair to get up. Are you with me?
I think so.
Okay. Rest for a minute. Let it all kind of like sink in for a second. Rehearse in your mind's eye. Just we roll the hip forward and back. We rolled one side forward and back. We rolled the other side forward and back. Then we rolled one side and we turned away. Then we rolled the same side and we turned towards. And then we went with the leaning forward, rotating out, and with the leaning forward, rotating towards the leg that moved forward.
So it's almost like this?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So now we're going to go to the left side. So go ahead and find a good place to sit on the edge of the chair, find a good place for the feet to support you, and start refinding again, because we did it in the beginning, the rolling of that pelvis forward and back. So the sitting bone is rolling off the bone like your belly is pouring out, and then you're taking the content and you bring it in. I have an image of like a big soup in a pot, kind of pouring it into a dish, and then bringing the pot back into a level. So the ilium on one side is pouring the soup out. Feel how the weight goes into the left foot. And then we can introduce the rotation away. And see if you can rotate away without leaning forward yet. Just the rotation away. And each one of us will be a little bit different depending on how the spine evolved and where is the direction of your pelvis as the ilium. Some of us have rotation, some of us have scoliosis, one side not working, one side working, and on and on and on. So just notice. Because when you know and you're aware of how you do things, and then we open more possibilities, then you have the options to take it on. And now we're going to go into towards the leg. As the hip rolls forward, we're going to rotate towards the leg without leaning forward yet.
Okay.
I have hardly any without leaning forward on this side. So it's really interesting to notice. So if I really wanted to take it on, then I can start looking. It's like, why am I so limited here? And what can I do with my ribs to allow a little bit more? And try not to let the knees fall in towards the center. Try to keep the knees steady. And the areas where you find limitation, like I'm not good at this here, I can't do it here, this is the place of inquiry and interest, and how can I make it participate in the rest of the body? So now we're going to do it with allowing the leaning forward. So we're going to roll the left hip forward, and we're going to rotate away, and we're going to lean a little bit forward. And we come back. And then we're going to do it going towards the leg. So we're going to roll the left ischial tuberosity forward. We're going to rotate the torso towards the leg, and we're going to lean forward a little bit. And if it makes you kind of spasm somewhere, then do less. Don't force it. It's kind of drilled into us. Try harder, try harder. No, don't try harder. And I have to remind myself, I've been doing this work for 49 years, and I still want to sometimes push with my muscle. It's like, yeah, I can do it. I'm still young. I can. No, just allow it and find the path. Okay, and rest for a minute. Do each one of you know where it was harder? Which side was harder? Do you have a side that was harder?
Yes.
No? Okay, so we'll do both sides. Okay. So let's roll the right hip forward and rotate the spine away, but the head will go into the leg, with the leg, and then come back. So we're adding another differentiation. So the pelvis rolls forward, the spine goes away, and the head goes with the leg. And it goes, if you're sitting on the edge of the chair, your sitting bones may even fall off the chair, which is fun. See if you can get courageous enough to fall off the chair with all the weight on your foot.
Head goes with the
Away
leg.
with the knee. Yeah.
With the knee. So
With
it
the
goes
knee.
this way.
So as my pelvis rolls forward, my spine goes away like a Spanish dancer. Ta-da! Think about showing off. Look at me, look forward. Look at the knee, forward. The right one, the one that you went into.
This way.
So the spine goes away.
Spine goes this way.
There, and now look to the right. Look to the right, there you go.
Okay.
And then come back.
Got it.
So the spine goes away from the leg that goes forward, and the head goes with the knee. And now we're going to do the opposite. We're going to roll the leg, same leg. We're going to bring the spine to the leg, and we're going to turn the head to the left, and we're going to come back. So the right leg goes forward, the weight goes on the right, the spine goes over the right leg, and the head goes to the left. And come back to the center. Can be tiny, tiny, tiny. The hip goes forward, the spine goes towards the right leg, and the head goes to the left. Completely different areas of the ribs and the back are working. And let it rest for a minute. Roll the pelvis back and roll forward on the sitting bones and see how it feels. And come back to the center, and we're going to go to the left side. So as we roll the pelvis forward on the left side and the left leg goes forward, the spine will go to the right and the head will go to the left. And then we'll come to center. Again, that Spanish flamenco feeling. And see if you can be brave enough to allow the sitting bone, the ischial tuberosity, to glide forward so it falls off the edge of the chair. Are you going forward or are you staying centered? What's your solution for that rotation? See if you can stay center without leaning forward, just so you can get a different variation. And then we're going to switch. We're going to keep on rolling with the left hip forward, but now we're going to turn the spine towards the leg and the head towards the right. Work small, because this is way harder. It's like pretzeling the spine. It's all these tiny little muscle and areas between vertebrae that's been sitting without use for a long time. Try to stay with the spine in the center and rotate around. If you're taking your body to the side or you're taking your body forward, you are bypassing the areas that I'm offering for us to get to.
Are your stomach muscles relaxed or tightened?
They are being used, but they're not tightened.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, come to the center and rest for a minute. Go all the way back and just rest. The idea here is to work with the bone and the levering of the bone, leverage of the bone, let's say it, and let the muscles do what they need to do as a byproduct, not as an exercise of working the muscles. They're attached, so we work them, but we don't want to, it's just like in martial arts, you don't push your opponent, you don't use power, you use the movement and to either push away or let them go beyond you. So over here too, it's like if you think about the bones rolling, and then the spine, bones of the spine is doing whatever they're doing, the muscles will do what they need to do. So let's go roll back into the edge. And let's roll the right hip forward and move the spine back and forth over the leg. Do it slowly or do it faster, whichever feels right. So the right hip is rolled forward, the left is staying behind. And notice what you're doing with the eyes and the head. Are they going with the spine?
But when you move, your leg is also moving a little bit, yes?
No. Okay, let's sit in straight. Roll the right hip forward. And now I'm moving the spine over it. Not my hands, my spine. My spine. My spine. See if you can get the arms to be free. Even if you just do tiny, like on each side of the leg, not all the way to the back of the chair, that's fine. You can do it right here, tiny, 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 depending on how healthy your spine is, right?
You feel it right in the back.
Yes,
Okay.
we're working on the spine right now, on the rotation of the spine. Notice what your eyes and your head is doing, because in a minute, when your arm goes to the right, your head will go to the left, and when you bring your arms to the left, your head will go to the right, and continue. And stay with your arms to the side, with your head to the left. Close your eyes and just move your eyes right and left, right and left. See if your eyes are moving on the same line, like maybe the horizon. Are you able to keep a straight line, or is it jumping? Do you have areas that you don't really know how your eyes got there? From the right to the left? Is it easier to move from the center to the right or from the center to the left? And now move your arms to the left and the head to the right. And start moving the eyes to the right and to the left and to the right and to the left. And relax the eyes in the center and bring your head to the center and keep on moving the arms to right and left over the right leg. Notice what your head and eyes are doing. And stay in the center and roll the right hip back into the center. And roll your left pelvis, the sitting bone. Oops, let it kind of fall off the edge of the chair. And start rotating the spine over the left leg. Whether you're doing small or big, it's up to you. It really makes no difference. You can do it really slow and find out how much of your spine is rotating. You can have your eyes closed or open, or try the non-habitual way and see how it affects your movement. What becomes possible when you do it a different way.
It's easier with my eyes closed.
Mm-hmm. And then stay with the arms to the left and move your head to the right and move the arms inside and the head to the left and do opposition. Position. Arms and head in opposition.
Arms and head up.
So when the arms are to the left of the left leg, the head will go to the right. When the arms are in the center of the body, the head will go to the left. The knees are steady, they're not pointing inward, the legs are strong. The left leg is forward than the right leg, the hip. Not in the feet, but in the pelvis. And now stay with the arms to the outside and with the head to the right, and move the eyes to the right and to the left, to the right and to the left. And notice the line, the height of the line, the clarity of the line as you're moving from left to right and right to left. And bring the arms to the inside, turn your head to the left. Your left hip is still forward, and move your eyes from the left to the right, to the left, 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 center. Bring your left hip back into the chair and move the right one forward and the left one forward and the right one forward. See if your knees can go forward rather than falling in or falling to the side. See if you can walk kind of falling off the chair and come back into the chair. Can you really feel the sitting bones falling off the chair? Boom, boom, boom. Are you on the very edge, Meg?
No, not the very edge.
The very edge. See if you can make it fall. I'm trying to get the two sides of the pelvises to actually move in the joint, in the back joint. But without letting the knee do this. Going forward and forward and forward and forward. Put your fingers right here and feel how that joint is actually moving. It gets so rusty.
It does.
It's the rustier joint, I think, that we have. Okay,
I
and
feel it, yeah.
all right. We're kind of running out of time. So go ahead and put your hands on your knees and just roll. Find center, find the top of the sitting bones. Roll forward on them, allow the belly to soften and hang loose above the pubis. God knows why I couldn't come with the word pubis earlier. And roll back. And find center again. And just picture the spine, each vertebra stacked one on top of the other, coming in between the shoulder blades, up into the neck, and 7 vertebrae in the neck, and the head sitting on top of them, going all the way to the occipital. And then shift your weight forward and get up.
You look forward to this, do you?
And then start walking a little bit and see how it feels to walk.